Alright, guys, I'm gonna do part two of Gog and Magog War. This time I'm gonna go quicker than last time. Um, but let me just do a quick recap. I'm gonna reread chapter 38 of Ezekiel. I read it last time, but I'm gonna do it quickly this time because what I really want to get at least two part of chapter 39, which I find very interesting. It's still in the Gog Magog War in chapter 39. Um, and then I might have to stop and do part three because I do want to do other videos about Nephilim and every video I'm gonna make is I'm only gonna use the Bible. I'm not gonna get any external books or any other. I'm only gonna use the Bible, no other book. All right. So Ezekiel chapter 38. Now the word of the Lord came to me, saying, "Son of man, set your face against Gog, Gog." It's a title of a person, and again, this means military and political leader, or a czar, as we will say, today. Of the land of Magog, the prince of Rosh, Meshach, and Tubal, and prophesy against him. These lands, when you put them together, it's the land of Russia. Now, again, Ezekiel's naming these lands how they were known in his day. But if you get those ancient maps and you put them and you compare them to now, is Russia. And thus says the Lord God, behold, I am against you, O Gog, prince of Rush, Meshach, and Tubal. I will turn you around. Again, this is verse 4. I will turn you around. It speaks of someone that is not facing a certain way, but God is going to make them face the other way. So in this one, you could, it's like, for example, Putin is not trying to get involved with Israel, but God is going to make him get involved with Israel. Okay? I will turn you around and put hooks in your jaws and lead you out. With you and all your army, horses and horsemen, all splendidly clothed, a great army of a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, this is verse 5, okay? I'm gonna start naming a coalition of nations that will come together. And by the way, all these nations are Islamic nations, okay? Um, and I don't mean that to be like offensive or anything. It's just it is what they are. So, verse 5, Persia, this is the land of Iran that we know today. Ethiopia. Now, when it says Ethiopia, it's not just Ethiopia as we know it today, it's Ethiopia as it was before. So, it's actually much larger and actually includes the land of the country of Sudan. And then it says Libya. And again, this Libya is much larger. It's mostly like the top cap of Africa. Um, are with them, all of them with shields and helmets. Gomer and all of its troops. Gomer is the land, it's in Turkey, but it's like the western northern part of Turkey. And then the house of Togomar from the far north and all of its troops. The house of Togomar is Turkey. You could look that up. Many people are with you. Prepare yourselves and be ready, you and all your companies that are gathered about you, and be a guard for them. Now, this word guard is very interesting because it means this Gog, Gog, will be a supplier, provider for this coalition of nations that I mentioned. Verse 8. After many days you will be visited, and in the latter years you will come into the land of those brought back from the sword, and gather from many people on the mountains of Israel, which had long been desolate. They have they were brought out of the nations, and now all of them dwell safely. Now, right here it says last time I kind of didn't really explain myself very well, so I'm gonna do it now. It says safely, and you could probably even argue they're not safe. See, look what's going on, what happened, or they're being attacked, right? And I don't want to get into the whole politics of it. I just don't. So, but I'm just trying to get here, okay? So it says they will dwell safely, and they're not safe, right? The people. So now this is my opinion, and I think something will happen within probably in this year that will shock the world. But I do believe what's going on right now, this conflict, Israel will be victorious to a certain point where they will drop their guard. Okay, they will drop their guard, and They will absolutely think they're safe. And let me continue, and I'll explain myself more when I get to, I think, verse 10 or 11. So verse 9, you will ascend like a storm covering the land like a cloud, you and all your troops and many peoples with you. Thus says the Lord God, on that day it shall come to pass that thoughts will arise in your mind, and you will make an evil plan. You will say, I will go up against a land of unwalled villages. I will go to a peaceful people who dwell safely, all of them without walls, having neither bars nor gates. Now you're probably saying, oh, but Israel is completely surrounded by a wall, which it is. And right here, this says that Israel will be unwalled. So again, this goes to my argument that Israel, and this conflict is going on right now, they will be victorious to a certain point, that they will, I best, be kind of arrogant and just, take down their wall. They're safe now. We don't have to worry about anything. We're victorious. And then that's when the boom hits, right? So anyway, no gates hold, verse 12. To take plunder and to make booty, to stretch out and to take booty, to stretch out your hand against the waste places that are again inhabited, and against a people gathered from the nations, who have acquired livestock and goods, who dwell in the midst of the land, Sheba and Dedan, the merchants of Tarshish. So Sheba and Dedan is the land of Saudi Arabia. The merchants of Tarshish. Now this word Tarshish, it's a debate that goes back and forth with scholars, but we could say for certain it has to be Europe, some parts of Europe, or at least the part is UK, Spain, France, that area. And their young lions will say to you. Now, their young lions, as I mentioned it before, United States is not mentioned in the Bible, like specifically. But if it was, this would be the only place. I cannot say that for certain. I can't say for sure that this is what it is. That is talking about United States. But if it was, this would be the only place in the Bible that will mention it. Um, So Sheba and Dedan and Tarshish, parts Europe, will actually complain. They will protest this attack from this coalition of nations, and that's all they will do. They won't actually go and defend Israel. They will just protest, as you will see now. And they start asking them, "Have you come to take plunder? Have you gathered your army to take booty, to carry away silver and gold, to take away livestock and goods, to take plunder? Therefore, son of man, prophesy and say to Gog, Thus says the Lord God, on that day, when my people Israel dwells safely, you will not know it. Will you not know it? Then you will come out from your place out of the far north, you and many peoples with you, all of them riding on horses, a great company and mighty army. You will come against my people Israel like a cloud to cover the land, and it will be in the latter days that I will bring you against my land, so that the nations may know me." So God is doing all this, and He's telling you the reason right here. And I continue. When I am hallowed in you, O Gog, before their eyes, thus says the Lord God, are you he of whom I have spoken in the former days by the servants, the prophets of Israel, who prophesied for years in those days that I will bring you against them? And it will come to pass that at the same time when Gog comes against the land of Israel, says the Lord God, that my fury will show in my face. For in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath I have spoken. Surely in that day there will be a great earthquake in the land of Israel, so that the fish of the sea and the birds of the heavens, the beasts of the field, and all the creeping things that creep on the earth, and all the men who are on the face of the earth shall shake at my presence. The mountains shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall. Every wall shall fall to the ground. I will call for the sword against Gog throughout all my mountains, says the Lord God. Every man's sword will be against his brother. So when this coalition comes, God is going to defend Israel, and He's going to put. They're eventually going to fight amongst themselves. I will bring him to judgment with pestilence and bloodshed. I will rain down on him, on his troops, and on many peoples who are with him, flooding of rain, great hailstones, fire and brimstone. Thus I will magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations. Then they will know that I am the Lord. And that's the reason why. And that's the end of chapter 38. So, you know what, let's keep on going. Chapter 39. And you, son of man, Ezekiel, prophesy against Gog, and say, thus says the Lord God, behold, I am against you, O Gog, the prince of Rosh, Meshach, and Tubal. And I will turn you around and lead you on, bringing you up from the far north. From the far north, I will bring you against the mountains of Israel. Then I will knock the bow out of your hand and cause the arrows to fall on your own, on your, uh, cause the arrows to fall out of your right hand. Anyway, sorry guys, kind of a little nervous reading towards the camera. It feels weird. But so the word arrow right here in verse 3 in chapter 39 is in the Hebrew is actually more of projectiles. So he will knock up projectiles that you shoot. They, these army, this coalition will shoot. God is gonna have them fall on them. Projectile missiles or what have you. So I'm gonna read again. Then I will knock the bow out of your left hand and cause the arrows to fall out of your right hand. You shall fall upon the mountains of Israel, you and all of your troops, and the peoples who are with you. I will give you to the birds of prey and every sort of beast of the field to be devoured. You shall fall on the open field, for I have spoken, says the Lord. And I will send fire on Magog and on those who live in security in the coastlands. Then they shall know that I am the Lord. Now, coastlands means, well, it's actually many nations, it's just outside the coastlands. I lost my place here. Oh, yeah. So, verse 7, chapter 39. So I will make my holy name known in the midst of my people, Israel, and I will not let them profane my holy name anymore. Then the nations shall know that I am the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. Now, in verse 7, he says, I will not let the Jews, profane his name no more, muddied his name. And I talked about it on part 1, the video prior in chapter 36, how God said that he was the one responsible. He's the one that scattered them through all the nations, and he is the one that brought him back. And the reason why he scattered them is because they were disobedient. They did a lot of crazy things like worship other gods, human sacrifice, Baal, Moloch, and all that. And then while they were in these other nations, they kept they kept profaning his name. And he says in chapter 3, says, "Not, I'm gonna bring you back, but it's not because of you. It's not because you guys are awesome. It's because you have dirtied my name, and I'm gonna sanctify myself. I'm gonna basically clean my name up. So that's why I'm bringing you back, and that's why this coalition, this war will happen." Um, some scholars could say, or have said, that this war could be the end of Islam. I don't know, but they're all very the most powerful Islamic nations, outside of Saudi Arabia. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think I'll just read one last thing from the Prophet Joel. Give me 1 second here. Here we go. I don't think I read it last time. Um, but I think it's part of it. It's definitely one part of the, the last day war. For behold, so this will be Joel chapter 3. So behold, in those days, and at that time, when I bring back the captives of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all the nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's the valley of judgment. And I will enter into judgment with them there on the account of my people, my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations. They have also divided up my land. They have cast lots for my people and given a boy for payment for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they may drink. Indeed, what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Sidon, and all the coasts of Philistia? Would you retaliate against me? But if you retaliate against me, swiftly and speedily I will return your retaliation upon your own head. Now, real quick, Philistia is actually known as part of the land where Gaza is. Gaza, um, actually, this is a very good Bible because it doesn't have really good maps. But I might have it here. I'm not sure. But if not, I have other maps that I have separate. That yeah, right here. So Philistia, you will have the city of Joppa, Ashdod, Gath, and Gaza. Now, if you know the history, if you know your Old Testament, a lot of giants came from Gaza, and a lot of giants ran away to Gath, and that's why after the wars, and that's why Goliath came from the land of Gath. You know, um, David and Goliath. Goliath is from the land of Gath. And so that's when he's saying, "Who? What do you have against me?" He's talking to Gath, the whole land of Philistia, and Sidon and Tyre and all these, they're in Phoenicia. It was still Philistia, but all these people are they're actually Phoenicians. That's their descendancy. Um, yeah, so there are Phoenicians, but I don't know how I turned to this part. My apologies, but yep, that's the end of Gog and Magog. I most likely will do a part 3 just to fill in some gaps. But yeah, hope you guys like it, and I will be doing another video. This time won't be about war. Well, that's not necessarily true, but I will be talking about the Antichrist, and that's one video. I'll probably do 2 parts, maybe 3 parts on that, because there's just so much information. And then I'm gonna go into also the fallen angels and Nephilim. All right, guys. God bless.